So once again, I apologize for the background noise. I need to be very clear. The background noise is a result of what happens when the state and federal government act against a sovereign American on faulty information, and they run amok with hysteria and infect many, many people with their bullshit. It's very, very painful and very loud. Very painful for me, but it's loud for you folks. So I do apologize. So a little bit more about Carmen. I had bought a surfboard. I was very happy to have this surfboard. And it had a ding, we call it. When you have a ding in your surfboard, you have to correct it. You need to keep. You have to make sure that water doesn't enter into the board. Surfboards are very complex. I'll just put it like that. And at the time that I met her, her dog was having beautiful. It's a Samoyed blend or something like that. Beautiful white, big white dog. Beautiful. And he was up in age, and he was starting to fail. When we started dating, he had lost his vision, and he'd walk off the back porch, he'd walk into things. You work with your dog. I was her dog, but I would have done anything for that dog. So I come in the house, whatever, date night, whatever it was, boy toy night, whatever it was. And she's working on the surfboard on the living room floor. There's a pile of dust. You may not know this unless you surf, but even many surfers do not know this. But surfboard shapers and surfboard glassers, not as much as before, but definitely in the early days, they have a life expectancy that's shorter than most people because it's a sacrifice to do that kind of work. Because all that you breathe in, whether it's the fumes or the dust or all the things that go into making a surfboard, yes, you can wear a mask, you can do all these kind of things, but all the good shapers from the 70s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, almost all of them died probably 15 years before they should have. Because when you surf, like I said about the surf culture earlier, you're committed. And they were committed. So anyway, I come in and there's a pile, whether it's surfboard foam or resin that she had sanded off the board, whatever it was a pile, a small pile. Maybe enough to fit in your, and when I say pile, don't get enough to fit into the palm of your hand, a nice little pyramid. On the rug of her floor in her living room. And I wasn't trying to start a fight with her or nothing like that. I just came in and I said, "Oh my gosh, what are you doing? Oh, I'm so glad you're working on this board." But I said to her, "Hey, Thule can't see. He's relying upon his nose most of the time to get around because dogs have a very strong nose. That's one of their senses that they have left. If they lose their vision and other things, they can practically..." Anyway, just thinking about it makes me mad right now. I say to her, there is nothing more important than than your dog, your life, your stuff. I am so grateful that you're working on this board for me, but I wish that your dog wouldn't be affected by anything you're doing for me. And she fucking blew up, man. She just couldn't handle it. It was just too much for her. And I don't understand. I do not understand. Although, thinking about her meeting with my mother, of course she was already introduced to my sister because my sister was pregnant with Mia at the time. But I just need to say this, without divulging other things that I know about her and her past, that this is a cold-hearted individual. Whatever she needs to do at the time for her own whatever is what she's going to do. When she threatened to have Todd Liberty make my life hell, and of course, she didn't say this to me, but of course, she had the surf community attack me. Well, I just wonder what she could have said to other law enforcement. And not just that, there's a strong connection between her ex-boyfriend, ex-fiance, Chris Suma, was one of the premier orthopedic surgeons in that area, and my neurologist, James Kohut. You gotta look him up and see the story about him to understand more about what it is I'm speaking about here, and how she may have had contact with people deep in the system of actual monsters, law enforcement that are actually doing investigations on actual monsters. And I can only guess what this woman could have told them. I don't think that I had anything to do with shorten Thule's life. But at the same time, I was amazed at what I saw and her disregard for her blind dog. And it's definitely a strong reason why I couldn't be in that relationship with her anymore. Couldn't do it. That's just a little bit more about Carmen-The. Quite possibly your child's pediatrician in a beautiful part of the country where the children there are healthy, in the water, in the sun. Just amazing. In all the wrong ways. Absolutely. It's crazy, actually. But this is someone who played she's a main player in all of this. And so I have to make this message.